we can go to the Western Conference.
Yeah, sounds good.
I do believe the last time they played in the conference finals in 2000 was against the Pacers, was it not?
Correct.
With Reggie Miller on the Pacers, obviously. His kind of iconic comeback performance. So that's a cool little storyline. And Reggie Miller's going to be on the sidelines, actually, probably, announcing.
Very true.
So
Yeah, TNT will be calling the Eastern Conference Finals, so yeah.
cool stuff there. It's a really fun matchup, in my opinion. Two very different teams. You got kind of the Thibs style of we're going to be grit and grind, and then you have the Pacers who like to run a lot, are going to get up and down. And it's also just exciting because you don't very often see a conference finals matchup between the 3 and the 4 seed. Not necessarily a matchup very many people expected. And it's two franchises that haven't had tons of success recently in the playoffs. Like, we're going to see one of these teams in the finals. And to me, that's exciting. Because for a league that in a lot of eras or in a lot of years hasn't had much parity, getting it now is just pretty cool. Any early leans, JP, on how you see the series going?
I lean New York. I think a large part for one, they were beat up a ton last year, and I also don't think they were as talented as they were last year. And you saw the team just kind of deplete game by game. OG Anunoby hurt his hamstring. Jalen Brunson ends up breaking his hand. And this just wasn't the same team. Obviously, Julius Randle was hurt that entire postseason.
Yeah.
So Hartenstein was your starting center. And the Knicks still, with the help of Jalen Brunson, took them to 7 games, winning the first 2 in New York, then losing the next 2 in Indiana, winning Game 5, and then they lost Game 6 and Game 7. So I lean New York because I think New York's got better in the addition of Karl-Anthony Towns and Mikal Bridges. And then health is a big thing here, and they're healthy, relatively so at least. They're obviously going to be dealing with some nagging injuries with the amount of minutes that they play. And I had big gripes about how many minutes they played in Game 6, especially in the second half when they're up 30 points. But I lean New York here in this series. I think it'll be super interesting when this game gets down in the clutch because New York has been obviously really good in this postseason, but Indiana is undefeated this postseason in clutch games. They're 5-0 or 6-0 through the Cleveland series and the Bucks series, and then obviously with their 2 7-point comebacks, they've just been electric down in the clutch. And this I just going to be a really fun series.
Yeah,
I think New York, Indiana, great fan bases, great arenas, but these teams don't like each other, and Knicks are going to be out there for blood. The Knicks this season won the season series 2-1, winning 1 game in the Garden, winning 1 game at the Field House, and I lean New York. New York's got the best player. I think they have the defense to keep up with the Pacers' pace. But a big thing for me, I think New York just kind of outsizes the Pacers in a lot of matchups. Mikal Bridges is going to be bigger than Nembhard if Nembhard guards him, or even Nesmith. But if you put Nesmith on Mikal Bridges, who's going to guard Anunoby? Towns is bigger than Miles Turner. And Karl-Anthony Towns was actually really, really good in all 3 of the Pacers games this season. So I think New York's got the size to match up with Indiana, and I think that's kind of going to be the big factor for me throughout this series. Karl-Anthony Towns in 3 games against the Pacers this series, 30, 12, and 2 in those 3 games. He scored 20 points, 30 points, and 40 points in those 3 games. So he's kind of the key to the series, in my opinion. As good as Jalen Brunson is, the Pacers found ways to kind of slow him down as the series progressed last season.
Yeah.
And so he's going to need a second option throughout this series.
That makes sense. I think I lean New York too for a lot of the reasons you said. I do just talking about matchups. The thought of crunch time Halliburton versus crunch time Brunson is really exciting. But I just feel like I saw something from the Knicks team in the Celtics series that like convinced me to believe in them, if that makes sense. In terms of like, yeah, they didn't win the regular season matchups against the big teams. We hadn't necessarily seen anything from them, but to just go in and have the two comebacks in game 1 and 2 like they did, it just feels like they're very confident right now, and they're playing really good basketball. And then that combined with Jalen Brunson, like you said, Cat, just the whole squad. I think it'll be a long series, 6 or 7, but I think New York will pull it out in the end. Do you want to give a lean, Sanders?
I would lean. I don't know. Just watching the pace, I got to watch more Pacers games than I did Knicks games. I feel like, or I probably watched the same number, but I paid more attention to Pacers games than I did Knicks games.
Sure.
And Tyrese Halliburton just looked insane, especially in that clutch that I think JP was talking about earlier when it comes down to Pacers games. So I'm going to lean Pacers here, but we shall see. Did you already say game 1 is Wednesday at 7? So it's crazy. Games don't we get tomorrow off. So we had that feels odd.
First
after
night
all
off
the
in a long time.
Yeah, after all the nonstop basketball we've had.
Well, we didn't have a game last night, actually. I apologize. So it's not the first night off in a long time.
Oh, that's true. Well, it's an enjoyable break. It gives us more time to watch hockey.
Sure. I don't even know if
Last
there's any
night's hockey
tomorrow.
game, there was insane hockey last night. But yeah, I'm gonna lean Pacers.
I mean,
Won't have a hockey game for Wednesday, so
yeah.
Wow.
A little lull for us. Whatever am I going to do?
Watch baseball.
True. Go Braves. Except we're off tomorrow night, actually, as well, for the first time in 17 days. So
Padres may also be off.
this is brutal. It really should be a great series. And I think all the games, or a lot of the games, will be close. I feel like the Pacers kind of play a style of basketball that can lead to blowouts. So maybe not. But are you at all worried about the Pacers' devil magic, JP?
is this a specific meme you're trying to call out, or
Just, the fact that it seems like any team they play in a playoff series sustains a lot of injuries.
yeah, maybe. Yeah, I guess that's an interesting running theory. I do think I kind of want to push back on what I said in the last episode. Having given days to think about it, I felt like the Pacers in that last series did kind of prove they are what they are. And, yes, there's been a lot of injuries, but back-to-back conference finals is not something to just, look away from. And I thought the Cavs still had, enough health to be competitive in that series. And in the games where they were at full strength, kind of, the Pacers outplayed them throughout. So the Indiana is a dangerous team. The Knicks are not going to disrespect them by any means, but I hope there's no injuries. I would love, because I want to see New York in the NBA Finals. I think that would be electric. Whether that's Anthony Edwards or SGA coming into the Garden, that'll be great.
Cinema right there. Yeah, I said the Devil's Magic thing. Yeah, as a meme, like you said, I don't actually believe that's the only reason the Pacers are here. But I just want to toss it out there.